Hey traders, it's Danielle. Welcome to the Simpler Options free video for Friday. So today we're going to be talking about Boeing. Why? Well, as we know, Boeing has been in the news all week due to the terrible plane crash. Now, as traders, we all want to know, okay, what is happening with the stock? Well, first of all, whenever a news event happens on any ticker, I always wait to see if price is going to hold its support. At this point, I can say that yes, price is holding the 200 period simple. It's already been in the news for a week. And today, finally, it started to drift higher and we got that 30-minute moving average cross. That, in addition to the fact that the Dow now has a daily squeeze, tells me that it's time to start looking at Boeing again. So let's go ahead and dive into the chart segment. We're going to look at a couple different key levels. We're also going to look at the upcoming earnings report and the previous relative strength that Boeing had. So let's flip forward to the charts and I'll show you my trades.
All right, so everybody's been talking about Boeing this week, of course, and it goes without saying that it's obviously very tragic. What happened as far as the airplane crash is concerned. But this, just like any other news event, you always need to look at it the same way in the market. So what is that? Well, first of all, you need to go back. You need to look at how it was trading prior to whatever the news event was, okay? And you can do this just on the daily chart, or you can go back and you can plug this into Phoenix and you can say, okay, well, Boeing is in XLI, so how is Boeing trading relative to the rest of the stocks within this group? Well, you can see that Boeing triggered for a low very close to those triggered for a buy very close to those December lows, and has maintained a ton of relative strength. Okay, it's just gone pretty much straight up. Yes, it finally did trigger to the downside. Um, and of course, it was caused by a news related event. But what you always want to look at is when is that shaking out, okay? So at this point, I would say that it has. It's holding the 200 period simple. You got a ready, aim. We don't have the fire yet, but it's almost there. And then you're almost getting that volume buy. So it's holding this low very, very well. I would say that especially on the lower time frame chart, you can see the major ready aim fire buy that came in. And also I would also use this one as caution because you see how this initial ready aim fire buy came in and you had Boeing buyers and then it popped up and then of course there was more news about the black box. And so I will tell you, whenever there is news, okay, you just always want to exercise more caution, especially in the options market, because a technical trigger can trigger you in and then maybe something else will come from it. But at this point in the news cycle, it's been covered pretty much for a week straight. That's about when I would look for it to start, kind of starting to climb back because investors are going to wait on the side until they say, okay, well, it looks pretty safe now. So, what tells me that it actually does? Well, I have Boeing right here triggering to the upside on that 30-minute moving average cross, and it closed up 1.5% on the day. Additionally, you have a Dow daily squeeze. So as we know, Boeing is the top weighted product in the Dow, has a huge impact on the Dow. And as the Dow traded lower this week, along with Boeing, or at least, at times, I would still argue that it held up very, very well. It's holding up to the 21 EMA. We now have a squeeze and we now have a ready aim fire buy. We now have a VZO buy. So, moral of the story is I'm looking for the Dow to trade up into 2,700. The first target is going to be 2660. And you can trade that with futures on an intraday basis. You can trade it with some long calls in the DIA. You can buy the DIA itself. And I'm thinking that I'm going to come in. I meant to get this on before the market closed today. I just didn't have time. But I like these 252 long calls right there. That looks pretty good. And then as far as Boeing is concerned, I think a conservative trade on this is the way to go. So something like selling a put credit spread 14 to 21 days out. That would give you a pretty conservative options trade that would allow you to take advantage of a move to the upside. $2.15. It's 1-to-1 risk reward ratio on the trade. The other thing that you could do is you could come in here and you could also place a butterfly. So where would I do it? Well, earnings is on the 24th. Place it right up here at this voodoo line at 425. And I would do it in the series before earnings. So if earnings is in this series right here, I would come in here and I would say buy, butterfly, 425. Like this, 400, 425. There you go, $3.50 butterfly for $25 wide. That is amazing risk to reward situation right there, and that is how I would trade the move in Boeing. Thank you very much. I hope that you are having an excellent rest of your day and the rest of your weekend. So, if you want to learn more about my overall strategy, about the overall Phoenix Finder, about identifying relative strength, I am going to be having a webinar on Tuesday, March 19th at 7 o'clock. So make sure you go and check that out. I will go ahead and post the link below this video. It's going to be at 7 o'clock. I'm going to go through some recent trades that I have done, as well as how the overall Phoenix Finders works. And if you want to learn more about it, just please email support@simplertrading.com. So thank you very much. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.